K-Nation. Sponsored by K-State Superstore and 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Tonight on K-Nation, it's basketball season, and we're breaking down KU and K-State's most recent games and even ranking the top plays from the week.
Ooh, and there's a new way you can celebrate K-State men's basketball's wins with a special beverage you can take anywhere.
Well, that sounds pretty tasty. Plus, I sat down with K-State Athletic Director Gene Taylor to talk about K-State football's impact and how it goes beyond just Chris Kleiman's team. Welcome into K-Nation. I'm Glenn Kinley.
And I'm Lainey Gerber. For the first time since this show started, we're not talking about football right away. We are just a couple weeks away from conference play in basketball, so these non-conference games have some extra weight right now, and they're important.
They definitely do. We'll talk a little bit of football when we get to the Gene Taylor, but we don't have any games to break down, which is unusual for K-Nation. We'll talk a lot about basketball, like you said, because that weight is even stronger when you got a long-standing rivalry like the Border War, and it's back. KU doesn't get the Allen Fieldhouse advantage like they did last year, though. Can they take care of business in Columbia? Check out that sign. If you think that's harsh, you get to see some others that we can't put on TV. They got a hectic crowd for the renewed rivalry as the Jayhawks come onto the court. Crowd was loud. Grady Dick, though, call him the Tiger Silencer. New nickname, you like it?
Oh, I like it.
I think it's pretty good. I'll ask him later if he likes it. He was firing away earlier, the two-point mid-range jumper. He's also got 20/20 court vision. Hits McCullough there. He's got a big smile, and the mid-range game, the assist. How about a transition three from Grady Dick? He's just on fire. 15 points in the first half, 12 points in the first 6 minutes. In those 6 minutes, the Jayhawks open up a 14-point lead.
Well, I thought the start of the game we actually played, I mean, that's about as well as we played for any stretch. And, you know, we got good looks and we passed it great and handled pressure well. And that first 10 minutes, that was pretty good. And, of course, when Grady shoots it like that, getting it started, and that was good. It was a total team effort, and certainly we played our best game of the season.
And the scoring just kept piling on. Joe Yesufu getting in on the action with this corner three. He was number one. I hope he watches SpongeBob so he can get that. A player we don't talk enough about with this team this season is KJ Adams. He's been killing it and killing backboards, throws it down with authority. Adams has a career-high 19 points. He's really picked it up recently. Jayhawks put up 50 in the first half, and the offense rolls with 95 in this game.
95.
I think defense is mostly what I focus on, but when you have great passers like Juan, Jalen, and Kevin, they make it easy for me to score, so I really just focus on the defense end, and they'll find me when I'm wide open. It was a great environment to play in. I think that gets us jacked up to play because, especially when you have a great place like Allen Fieldhouse to play for, and then you go away and you have a good environment like this, it gets you hyped up to play in.
Hyped up they definitely were. The Border War goes the way of the Jayhawks with a 28-point victory. A tough look for Mizzou this year. A big loss to KU in basketball, and earlier in the season we had a loss to K-State football earlier, so they just keep losing. On K-Nation, we just show Mizzou losses a lot, I guess.
Hey, I don't think that's a problem for anyone else.
I think our viewers probably like that. It's the one thing that K-State and KU fans agree on. They like when Mizzou loses.
There we go. You're welcome.
All right, an incredible performance by KU against that long-standing rival. K-State men's basketball, they played pretty well today, too.
Yeah, they had an incredible performance, but the stakes weren't as high as against Mizzou. Incarnate Word came to town, and the Cardinals didn't exactly put up too big of a fight. We start, though, with the tunnel gritty, of course. These guys are always hype, and trying to get Glenn to learn how to play and how to do that, but doesn't quite work. Gameplay, though. Marquise Noel, no look to Naquan Tomlin, flushes it home, lost his shoot, but that's okay. End of the first half, Tyke Green step back three, can't connect, but Tomlin is there to recover it again. An extra 2 points right before the buzzer. Desi Sills in the second half only uses his left hand here over the top of the glass and in. The Wildcats offense is dominant in this one. Keontae Johnson leads scoring with 18, but 7 different Wildcats reach double figures.
That'll work.
K-State shares the wealth and comes up 2 points shy of 100 this afternoon.
We let down a little bit in the first half with some transition buckets and some easy cuts, backdoor cuts, and at halftime we challenged them to really lock in and away from the bench and talk and really do a better job defensively, and I thought for the most part we did that. So I'm a happy coach.
Happy coach, happy life. I think that's how the saying
goes. That's like how it goes, yeah.
Cats move to 9-1, the best record for a first-time K-State basketball coach. Cats are gearing up for a rivalry match this weekend with Nebraska. That should be an exciting one for sure, Laney. I noticed the similarity between Jerome Tang and Bill Self. They both like to maybe focus on where they can improve, right?
Yeah.
A really good game, we know Coach Self will say, well, we didn't rebound well enough. And
yeah.
Jerome Tang says, well, we didn't defend well enough. It's, they're never satisfied, which I guess is good.
Yeah, as coaches do. Well, we had some crazy women's basketball games this week, too. KU, undefeated, but still out of the top 25, takes down number 12 Arizona 77-50. Not just a win, but a statement that ties the program's largest margin of victory against a ranked opponent. Towna Jackson had another double-double. Are you surprised?
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah, me neither. And just this afternoon, the Jayhawks hosted in-state opponent Wichita State. KU won that one too, 75-52. That makes them 9-0. Holly Kerskeeter and Zakiya Franklin each had 16 points. The team is obviously happy with all this success, but not happy enough to just stop here.
The last week has been great for us, but I would say, like, we're humble. It's like not changing the way we play, not changing the way we practice.
I don't think we have a team that feels like, you know, we got to have one player go get 30 a night to give ourselves a chance. I think we're balanced. I think we have good perimeter play, good frontline play. And then we have a player like Chandler Prater that's a hybrid that we can move all over the place.
Very well right now they're playing, Laney. Number 25, Kansas State. They beat Kansas City on Wednesday, 72-45. The Wildcats forced 33 turnovers. The most turnovers they've forced since Jeff Mittie became the head coach. They got 32 points off those turnovers, but the Wildcats lost a close one to South Dakota State yesterday. That was 82-78. They were down just 4 at half, but the Cats started slow in the third quarter and got into a 12-point hole. They couldn't erase it. Gabby Gregory, she scored 31 points, going over 1,000 points for her college career. Pretty good stuff there. Big 12 play for both K-State and KU begins on New Year's Eve. I think the Wildcats have another big game on New Year's Eve, maybe the football team.
Yeah, oh, maybe.
I
don't know. I've heard of such.
That's a big one for sure.
Yeah.
KU women's basketball, undefeated. They got to get in the top 25.
They have to. And K-State, I've been so impressed with their defense all season. I'm so excited just to see how they progress.
Yeah, without Aoka Lee, too, right? I mean, both these teams are just playing so well. K-State's doing it without their All-American center, so it's exciting stuff. If the Jayhawks aren't in the top 25, we're filing a lawsuit.
Oh, my gosh. You do not want to watch K-Nation next week if KU isn't in the top 25.
We're just going to rant about it for 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, K-State men's basketball is one of those teams that's doing really well, and now you have the perfect way to celebrate Wildcat basketball wins from home.
Yeah, you might remember when Manhattan Brewing Company came out with Tang Party over the summer. Now you can actually get that beer at liquor stores in Kansas. Check this out.
It's a great beer, and it promotes K-State basketball like crazy. And so we wanted to make sure this beer was out all through basketball season. And not only out just here in Manhattan, but people in like Wichita and Topeka could get it. And we just wanted people to be able to get Tang Party and be able to celebrate, you know, Coach Tang being here in the new era of K-State basketball.
Tang and the coaching staff all went to Manhattan Brewing Company to try the beer. They love it, even though Tang's not a beer guy himself. Now it's available at liquor stores in and west of Topeka, including the Fridge in Manhattan. It's a perfect drink to bring to holiday parties, I think.
Cascade hops give it a nice like citrusy note to it, and then the tangerine really makes it pop, giving like a big, bright, like orangey tangerine-ness to it.
There you have it. The name Tang Party plays off the fact that the beer is a sour. That's some beer knowledge for you. It was already a beer that the owners had brewed in a small batch, but of course when K-State hired Jerome Tang, they had to bring it back. They had no choice.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can still go to the brewery and check it out if you prefer to do that, or get it at liquor stores, however you want. I've always said my 3 favorite kinds of beers: free beer, cold beer, and Jerome Tang themed beer.
Oh, there we go. I like it. I actually took a microbrewing class in college,
Really?
so I don't remember too much of it, not because I was drinking too much beer, just because I found a lot of the information online.
I don't
and didn't
believe
have
you.
to pay that much attention. But
So what did that rating get based on your advanced knowledge?
based off of my advanced taste buds knowledge, it was delicious. I actually ended up buying a 4-pack because it was really good, and I love a good sour.
Good deal. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you. Well, don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Coming up later on K-Nation, you probably don't think a basketball player's haircut affects their game. And you might be right, but look good, play good, right? We are talking to KU's team barber about how he keeps the Jayhawks fresh on the court.
But first, it's time for the top plays of the week from K-State and KU, the moments that changed the games or maybe even just left your jaws on the floor. That's coming up right after this break.
Jefferson's is the perfect spot to watch the game. Come try our new Loaded Macs, or pull up a seat at the bar and match our cold draft beer with our new Mac Burger. Find us at 29th and Wanamaker in Topeka or online at jeffersons.com.
Meaningful relationships built upon trust is a founding principle of the Trust Company. We help individuals and businesses create tailored financial plans and diversified investment strategies that adapt over time to your unique needs. Because we are independent, we can offer flexibility and creativity that many advisors and trust departments can't. If you aren't sure where to start or you're looking to make a fresh start, contact us today for a free consultation.
Hear that? It's edge of your seat. He blows the body off the car. Entertainment at top speed. Camping World NHRA races where top drivers compete to be the best. But don't blink. And who's got the horsepower? It is going to be Justin Ashley. A dazzling Top Fuel final. You could miss it. It's the Menards NHRA Nationals presented by Pet Armor. August 11th through 13th at Heartland Motorsports Park in Topeka. Every ticket's a pit pass and kids 12 and under are free. Get tickets early and save at NHRA.com.
The school day doesn't stop for the flu. I stay ahead of the class and on top of my health by getting the influenza vaccine every fall.
I want my daughter to have a healthy start, so I'm taking my doctor's advice and getting the whooping cough vaccine. The right immunizations during pregnancy can safeguard both of us.
Your primary care provider is your trusted source for all your healthcare needs, including vaccines. Learn more at beimmunekansas.org.
Golden Corral on Southwest Wanamaker Road has been locally owned since 1999. Come join us in our newly remodeled dining room with updated decor, a stone fireplace, and an enhanced buffet area. Breakfast served Saturdays and Sundays. Pickup orders and catering available. Golden Corral in Topeka is looking for great service-minded people to fill positions with advancement opportunities. Serious applicants can walk in to complete an application.
Come on in and join us
at Golden Corral.
Jefferson's is the perfect spot to watch the game. Come try our new Loaded Macs, or pull up a seat at the bar and match our cold draft beer with our new Mac Burger. Find us at 29th and Wanamaker in Topeka or online at jeffersons.com.
Welcome back to K-Nation. Laney, some breaking news. We had some good plays this week.
No way, I don't believe you.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, listen,
we'll prove it to you.
Yeah, they were kind of incredible on the basketball court from both K-State and KU. So for the first time in K-Nation history, we are giving you the top play from both teams. I'd like to start, though, because I don't know how you top this one from K-State. We've kind of been talking about it.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, plenty of great plays from the Wildcats this week, but none more exciting than this one. Naquan Tomlin forces a steal. 4 Wildcats running the floor for this one. Marquise Noel throws it up to the whole team. Tomlin, Cam Carter, and Keontae Johnson all want in on it, but it's Johnson who ends up with the slam. Slow-mo for this one I think is even better. Could have been any one of these high flyers, but it's off the backboard for K-State's top play of the week.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, and I almost messed you up with the teleprompter because I was watching the play so closely that I forgot to scroll it.
I forgive you.
I was just watching the dunk. It was pretty cool. You got it. I got it. Somebody got it. Somebody dunked it. So.
Yeah.
All right, Randy, that was pretty good, but actually that one was number 2 on SportsCenter. But I've got a curveball for KU's top play of the week. If you'll allow it, how about top plays of the week? Because Grady Dick, he had a number of them. We make the rules. Hey, he had a number of great plays against Missouri from the jump. Grady was cooking. In the first 12 minutes, we mentioned it, 6 for 6 and 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. That's 15 points, added in 4 assists and 6 rebounds in the first half. Lenny, that's more points, rebounds, and assists than I had in my entire junior high career. That's my dad's fault. He didn't play me enough. But Grady Dick was really, really good. The baseline, the layups, transition threes, he did it all in this one. If you weren't aware by now, Grady Dick, breaking news alert, he's good at basketball. Don't take it from us, though. Listen to this.
This dude's we had guys playing in their first road game ever, and he comes out and acts like, he's playing at Sunrise or Collegiate, in Wichita. He was cool, and his ball didn't hit the rim the first 4 or 5 he shot. So, yeah, he was great. He's a good freshman now. He's a good basketball player.
Yeah, in about a year, I think this is going to be his team.
Yeah, it might be. He might be in the NBA in a year.
Yeah, that too. There you have it. Top plays from the week from K-State and KU. Feel free to hit us up with which play you thought was better.
Yeah, there were lots of good ones.
It's hard
it was a tough choice for sure.
I don't want to make the choice. Well, I know what you guys are thinking. While you're watching these guys do superhuman things, you're like, man, they have some nice fades.
Great haircuts from these guys. The relationship between a man and his barber, let me tell you, it's special. That's why I only let my grandpa cut my hair. We'll introduce you to the Jayhawks hair magician right after the break.
K-State, KU, all sports. K-Nation, Sunday nights at 10:30 on 27 KSNT. Sponsored by K-State Superstore and 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
No matter where you call home, you deserve reliable coverage. At T-Mobile, we cover your town and 99% of people in America. And now, for a limited time with T-Mobile's hometown discount, families and small businesses who switch at a local store get 20% off. That's 20% off unlimited talk, text, and data for the life of your plan. Plus, with our T-Mobile Price Lock, we guarantee we won't raise the price of your rate plan. Get T-Mobile's hometown discount today.
When you start with better ingredients, better pizza, you also get better papadillas. Better cheese sticks, better yummy this, and better tasty that. Get any two or more for just $6.99 each. That's Papa John's.
What makes best reviews the best reviews?
Ooh, pretty colors.
They have an unbiased team that researches products in real-world situations.
Oh no, Count Bristol. We settle this dispute through dance.
To give honest, reliable recommendations on just about any product you can imagine. So you can be confident that whatever you're buying is right for you.
Faster, Count Bristol, faster!
Whatever you're into. For the best reviews, go to bestreviews.com. Seriously, before you buy anything, ever.
When we're putting together Fox 43 AM Live, we try to think of everything you might want to see in a morning show. We highlight upcoming local events and entertainment, great cooking tips, book recommendations. Our Best Reviews team can help make your life a little easier. We also have some big star interviews. Those are always fun. Really, there's just too much to tell you about. All right, maybe we didn't think of everything. I'll be right back.
Fox 43 AM Live, weekday mornings at 9.
Welcome back to K-Nation. Now let's cut to the chase. Glenn needs a haircut. I said it.
It's getting a little shaggy. I called my barber this week. He didn't call me back. So.
Oh, he didn't call you back, Glenn? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Maybe I got to check this guy out because if I needed one, I could go to Lawrence and get you men's basketball. Well, they got quite the barber over there. In fact, for some of these guys, it's their own personal barber. And K-Nation reporter Caroline Soro has that story.
Well, not everybody has somebody come to the place where they live and cut their hair, but from what I've heard, one barber in Lawrence is a borderline professional. But don't just take it from me.
2019, we got sent home back for COVID. We didn't really have a barber in my hometown who was doing like fades or anything. So me and my friends from home, we kind of just took it upon each other to kind of give each other haircuts, and it was a lot of trial and error, but after a while, I kind of got the hang of it and saw an interest in it.
Fast forward 3 years and business is booming. He works at a shop in Lenexa and cuts hair for the KU men's basketball team at McCarthy Hall.
After I learned how to cut, it's pretty much just kind of passively cutting and just keeping the relationships going, just getting to know the guys. So it's cool to kind of have that personal basis with them when I see them, on TV doing their thing.
Drew says he saw Michael Jankovic one night and told him his hair was looking a little shaggy. Drew asked if he needed a barber, Michael agreed, and the rest is history. Now, even some of the freshmen are in on it.
It's pretty awesome that we do have a barber shop. Just right down the hall from our rooms. So, stuff like this on a random Thursday night, just being able to come and get cut really fast and it doesn't take too much out of your day, so. It's awesome.
And each cut is roughly about $30. Wilder's been one of Drew's clients for months now, and so have some of his teammates.
Cam always gets his kind of high fade. Jankovic kind of gets a fade a little lower. Grady barely gets anything cut off at all.
For Drew, it's the perfect combo of having fun and getting paid for it. So it's a win-win for everybody because the players love it too.
Beautiful. Yeah.
In Lawrence, Caroline Soro, K-Nation.
Lane, I guess I got to hit him up. I'll see if he has any free time. Hopefully Caroline can get me in touch and see if he's got an opening this week.
He looks like he does some good work.
It's getting shaggy. I have to use more and more hairspray the longer it gets.
I'm so sorry. I cannot relate.
I'm sure you feel bad that my hair is so much work.
Yeah, I do. All right, well, after the break on K-Nation, we have an exclusive with some fun stories.
Yeah, and I sat down with Gene Taylor to talk about the future of K-State athletics. You won't want to miss this interview, so don't go anywhere.
Come out to the biggest party in the heartland, the Country Stampede. Headliners include Hardy, Lee Rice, and Cody Johnson. July 13th through 15th. Tickets and camping on sale now at countrystampede.com.
Hi, this is Voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you will be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. For 24/7 non-judgmental support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Local business is essential to the success of our community, and Manhattan's best are open for business, supporting our neighbors, our community, and investing in the future. Shop local and remember Manhattan's best like Energy Center, Mobile Revive, and Rock and Case.
Sports! We have everything that you're looking for at Play It Again Sports.
New and used sports and fitness equipment with used up to 50% off retail.
You can create your own discount by trading in and trading up. Sell us your gear and get cash on the spot, or even get store credit.
Play It Again Sports has something for every athlete. All seasons, all sports, on any budget. We're open every day in the Fairlawn Plaza Mall.
Game on!
We're shooting all threes. It was a good time, you know?
It's very exciting and wild.
Weeknights at 6:30 on 27 KSNT.
Come out to the biggest party in the heartland, the Country Stampede. Headliners include Hardy, Lee Brice, and Cody Johnson. July 13th through 15th. Tickets and camping on sale now at countrystampede.com.
Welcome back to K-Nation. K-State coaches have really proven to be some home run hires lately. Coach Kleiman in football, Tang in men's basketball so far, and Mitty with women's.
Yeah, Mitty doing well. All three of those guys are doing well. Tang's so new, but you have to think he's off to a great start. I sat down with the man behind those hires, K-State Athletic Director Gene Taylor, to talk about the decision to take a chance on Chris Kleiman and, of course, that Big 12 championship. All right, well, you guys have a new trophy downstairs. How excited are you about the new hardware that's here in Veneer Football Family Complex?
Man, I'm so excited. I walked in today. I've been gone a few days, and I tell you, seeing that trophy there just makes you feel really good and about everything, about how they played the game and the fact that they were able to get a win, and the fact we're Big 12 champs. That's very cool.
I got some maybe not so breaking news. I think you may have nailed the hire with Chris Kleiman. You think so?
Well, you know, I felt it was going to be a good hire. I thought it was going to be a good fit, and he's built upon the culture that Coach Snyder has put together and brought it to his level, the level that he wants it to be, and it was very evident all year long, and it was clearly evident on Saturday against TCU.
When you were looking for a head coach to replace Bill Snyder, you knew that was going to be a tough task, right? What was it about Coach Kleiman that you said he's the man for the job?
Well, obviously I mentioned I knew him, right? And I knew who he is as a person. I knew the standard in which the fans were going to have there at North Dakota State. It wasn't going to be measured in, you know, just getting into the playoffs. It was going to be measured in winning national championships, and he was able to do that. And I knew that he could understand the gravity of taking over for Bill Snyder. I told him, I said, you drive in Bill Snyder Highway, you walk into Bill Snyder Family Stadium, the statue's out there, you have to understand what you're walking into. And I think he understood it, he respected it, had a lot of respect for Coach Snyder, and was able to build around that and then build ultimately his kind of football team.
Now, I know you were doing some college football playoff stuff, so you weren't able to be in AT&T Stadium for the game. What was the moment? Were you yelling at the TV? Were you jumping up and down? Were you waking people up in the hotel or what?
Well, pretty much. Because of the committee, they actually want us to stay together and watch the game so we can talk about it. Because of what time we played, there were no other major games on at that time, so I asked our director, Bill Hancock, if I could go to my room because I know how I am when I watch football. So I got a little emotional, got a little carried away when Max Duggan made that big run and then we kicked that field goal. So I was jumping up and down on the room by myself, high-fiving myself, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you I got to know, did you throw out when they put TCU in the playoff where you're like, hey, there's a team that just beat them, you know? You didn't throw that out there at all? Maybe try to get...
We just got to figure out the best teams. And then when they talk about K-State, of course, as you know, I'm out of the room, so I don't even get to talk about ourselves. But there was a lot of respect for K-State all year long in the CFP selection process, and there was a ton of respect for TCU. And I think that's why they're able to stay at third and make the playoffs.
Have you put a lot of thought into the impact that a season like this could have? A Big 12 championship, you play Alabama in a bowl game. I mean, this could have, you know, a long-lasting impact, probably even beyond the football program.
Well, clearly, anytime football has success, it drives energy on our campus, and it has a tendency to carry over to the winter sports. And I don't know that I've actually thought about the gravity yet. I just know that being in the Sugar Bowl for the first time, being a Big 12 champion, that alone is big. And then, whether we can take that and play against an Alabama and beat them could really have major impacts on our program for a while.
It seems like every time there's a head coaching job in the SEC or the Big Ten, every fan base says, I think we're going to get Chris Kleiman. But every time you ask Chris Kleiman, he says, I'm loyal to Gene Taylor. He'll bring up your name. What does that loyalty mean to you that he says you took a chance on him and he's gonna stay here with you?
Well, what's cool about it is we're friends. We trust one another. We know that we have similar alignment in what we want in our football program. We really believe in one another and trust each other, and it's a cool relationship to have, particularly for a visibility for like a head football coach as he is.
And you know what fans out there are thinking, you just won a Big 12 championship, contract extension, is that in the works? Can you give me anything there?
Well, I can't give you anything yet, but obviously we want to make sure we can do everything we can to keep him. And it's a balancing act, and certainly, he just got extended last year. He's got some language for an automatic extension, but I'm guessing at some point that discussion will happen. But the good news about Chris is that's the last thing on his mind.
Right.
He wants to focus on getting ready for Alabama. Recruiting right now is big because of the transfer portal. So he's got other things, but at some point we'll sit down and we'll see where that conversation goes.
You got the basketball team playing well, men's and women's basketball. This is just an exciting time for K-State athletics, isn't it?
It's fun. I think it's fun for all of us. It's great to see Coach Tane come in and have some early success with, have to kind of rebuild. Obviously, Coach Mitty's got lost one of his best players to injury this year, and they've still managed to find a way to win differently, but they're winning. And so there's a lot of energy right now amongst our programs, and that's exciting for all of us. Exciting for the players, exciting for the coaches, and more so exciting for our fan base.
And exciting for the media, too. All right.
Good.
Gene, thanks so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's good to see the athletic director in a good mood. That's a good sign.
Yeah, happy athletic director, happy life.
There we go. We're having so much fun. It's not done yet. There's more K-Nation after the break.
With Sonic's 2 for $5 menu, you get 2 delicious things for only $5. How will you know which 2 to choose? Don't ask us. That's a rhetorical question. And everyone knows 2 for $5 is better than 1, which is helpful if you struggle with decision making. The Sonic 2 for $5 menu.
Sonic. Are you a super fan? K-State Superstore has the largest assortment of licensed K-State apparel and souvenirs waiting for you. And with our Superfan Rewards program, you'll enjoy even more. Fans can experience K-State Superstore at the stadium, online 24/7 at kstatesuperstore.com, and our new flagship location at 520 McCall Road. K-State Superstore, official retail partner of K-State Athletics.
When you start with better ingredients, better pizza, you also get better papadillas. Better cheese sticks, better yummy this, and better tasty that. Get any 2 or more for just $6.99 each. That's Papa John's.
Save big for 4 days only at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Get up to 50% off Adidas Champion and Puma Fleece. Up to 50% off ride-ons and bikes. Shop with confidence with our price match guarantee. Deals end Sunday. Visit your store or academy.com.
911 coffee emergency. Julie's Coffee and Bistro. Anytime for great coffee and better food, including our 66 Tornado. Stop by today.
The stories you need to know.
They just ripped the ATM out of the wall.
The stories that change the way you think.
Were you trying to rip me off?
It's one big party.
Inside Edition.
These are the stories that impact your life.
Weekdays at 2 on 27 KSNT.
Welcome back to K-Nation Sports Betting, now legal in Kansas. I'm sure you've heard. We gave you the lines for K-State and KU's bowl games last week, but those spreads have actually moved a little bit, Lainey.
Oh, yeah. Well, Vegas has K-State as 3.5-point underdogs now against Alabama. The Jayhawks also underdogs down to 3 points against Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl.
Kind of interesting because those spreads when we gave them last week were bigger, so the lines have gotten smaller. The Vegas thinks the games are going to be closer than they already had thought.
They watched more film, realized they're better.
The Jayhawks and Wildcats, don't sleep on them.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching K-Nation tonight.
And make plans to join us every Sunday. Have a great night.
That was good. It was a total team effort, and certainly we played our best game of the season, I feel like.
It's just continuing to get a little bit better at everything, right? I think we can be a little bit better.
Away and you have a good environment like this, it gets you hyped up to play, and